Hey everyone! What's up? Oh my gosh, look, I need to dye my hair. You see this? I look like Lily Munster. I got this like big gray streak that just. Hey Parker! Let me send you the link and come up when you're ready. I gotta hear your thoughts. This is crazy. Oh yeah, there was a peen bomber on Zav Girl's channel the other night, and things have just been finished. Oh, I haven't heard from Alex. Hopefully, I can find out though. I can ask her mod Lynn. Hold on, let me go back. Let me go on YouTube real quick so I can. Yeah. What a week. So supposed to go live about Dahmer. Hey Connie. Hey Jen. Hey Parker. Hey Jeremy. Hey Judy. Yeah, I was supposed to go live with my special guest. So let me explain this, guys, if you haven't heard this yet. But I was supposed to have a special guest on last night. Hey Red Eye Absolute. Hey Beatlemaniac. He's all right, so he works for, or I don't know if he still does, but he did at least. Hey Cool Gamer, work for Philadelphia Ghost Tours, where tours people of like the historic, ghost places and stuff. He's written 2 books. One is Haunted History of Philadelphia, and another one is Haunted History of Delaware. And he's written and starred in a Jeffrey Dahmer play. So he knows like all things Jeffrey Dahmer. I actually found him because he was fact checking the Dahmer show on Netflix, and I was like, I gotta look into this guy, check him out.
Creepy.
Obviously a lot. And I just like after I looked into him, I'm like, oh my gosh, he's the perfect guest for like the Halloween themed spooky stuff I got going on. So that's been rescheduled for October 4th. We'll talk about some of his ghost stories, his books. I'll share the link so you guys can get his book if you want, and we'll talk. He's going to present the Dahmer case with me.
Oh, cool. I'm listening. I'm just getting caught up from the case.
Did you listen to the
I did the press conference, but I got a question for you, and I want to get your guys' opinion. So this is neither here nor there, but I have to ask you guys something. So we know that there was another creator, Gray, who was very much believed it was, what do you call it? Unaliving. And apparently he has since changed his mind because he said he talked to the lead detective, but he couldn't tell anybody what he found out. Do you think that's BS? Like, I mean, are lead detectives of a high profile case speak with Gray Hughes to say, like, it just seemed to tell him confidential information that, like, it just, I mean, I guess things are, I guess stranger things have happened, but to me, it was just like, why would you, I don't know. So I'm like, why would you even come on and say, that's just weird, but.
Like, why would they even tell him anything in an active investigation?
Well, that's my thing. Like, if that's what's going on right now, that doesn't give me a lot, like
a lot of confidence.
They shouldn't be talking to, they shouldn't be talking to anybody right now. Right? No one is trustworthy in this case, as far as I'm concerned.
Hey, Chloe Joe. Hey, Robert. That's what I was doing. Hold on.
Jen's face. Her smiling. And I mean, that's cool. It just hit me the wrong way. I was like, what? I was more like, what in the freaking podunk law enforcement is working?
That's shocking to me. I don't know why they would even, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a pretty high profile case. Did something happen to Alex?
I know I think he's asking about her because she's in like the hurricane.
Oh, yeah, okay. Exactly, Crystal Ann. That's just when I was like, jeez.
Yeah, my kid was sick all week, and now Dave's sick, so.
Oh, and they're worse than kids.
Oh, aren't they?
Your hair looks amazing.
Thank you.
It's so silky.
It out. I have like really thin, straight hair. Like I have to like douse it in hairspray to even get it to curl. Like it naturally just falls like straight.
Oh, really?
It's really like thin. It always looks like thin and silky because it's so thin, but sometimes I hate it because I want like thick, voluminous hair, and it's just not. I have to like tease it and make it that way, but
never mind. Beatlemaniac already told my Discord that you were live. Okay.
Oh, thank you.
And I posted on I like to read web sleuths because sometimes they have some good information. Like that's where I found the boyfriends.
Reddit threads too, because I find a whole, like, all right, for instance, when I filed the Barry Morphy case, it was like a whole different type of people in Reddit than in the Facebook groups. I can't explain it, but it's just like way different theories than in Facebook groups and stuff. So I like combing Reddit too. I get really into the Reddit.
Yeah, it's like, you still have to vet it, but like I didn't know about the boyfriend's warrant until I read Web Sleuths, and I was like, well, that's pretty good information.
Yeah.
Is he in rehab?
I don't
People keep saying he's in rehab, but
I've heard he's commenting on 10 to Life's video, so I don't know.
I still do think that was him, the one that Melissa Jade pulled up. That
I think it is too. Yeah. Hey, Jen.
Hey.
What's up?
I don't know why I'm waving instead of saying hello.
Oh my gosh. I need to vent for a second, guys. So earlier, it's been bugging me all day, so I just need to get it out of my system.
Okay.
I vented too just a second ago, like, what?
My kid comes home from school on Fridays. He comes home and he goes to his dad's on the weekend, right? And he comes in and he tells me he took a test and he skipped like all these sections. And I was and it was about reading. He's like, I didn't know what to do, so I just skipped it. And of course, I like yelled at him because I was upset because I know he knows how to read, but he gets frustrated. Like he gets frustrated. He don't like to sit and go through it because it takes a long time. So I'm like, man, I know this kid probably just skipped the whole section because, he didn't feel like doing it. So I yelled at him.
He's 6, right?
7.
Okay, yeah.
So now I'm going to have to get him like reptile books or something because he's sick on the couch putting eyeballs in my chest. Yeah, so he wouldn't even say bye to me when he left. So I'm like, I'm going to have, maybe I approached that wrong. I'm going to have to try and get like reptile. Like he can't sit through like a whole story. He gets frustrated. Like maybe if I get a bunch of reptile books, he might be into it. Like kid reptile.
I doubt you're the only kid that's like that though, because my kids were too, like reading and stuff.
Well, he's my like my only child. Well, me and Dave have 3 kids between us, but he's like my first, like dealing with school and everything. I've never been through this before, so I'm like winging it,
I didn't know that was optional to finish a test or not. I mean, that's I would have appreciated it back in the day.
He said the teacher told him to skip, like if he didn't know. So I'm wondering if it was like a test to see like
what he knew,
like one of those tests. But I'm like, he just skipped a whole section. Like,
that's
I'm gonna have to reiterate me like yelling at him and be like, look, like I'm not mad, but I'm gonna be upset if you if as long as you put your whole effort into it, I'm fine with it. If you do bad, that's fine, but try at least.
What grade is he in? Chloe asked. First.
Yeah, in kindergarten, he was he got these little books they send home, like once a week, and he can read the easy words at least, like
baggy books. Yep.
Yeah, like kid books. So I'm like, I know he can read some of it, but but he gets frustrated easy, and if it's like a long story or if it takes too long, he's like, he don't want to keep doing it. So I'm like, he probably just
shut down.
Yeah. So I'm gonna try reptile books. We'll see how that goes. Does anyone know if the daughter and her boyfriend were arrested yet? No, they have not been arrested. As far as I know, they haven't. So.
Not that I've seen.
Hey, that girl.
So all I know is I thought, sorry, I know you're going to start. I thought they were very transparent today. I thought they offered a lot more than I actually thought. Like we were kind of used to Kylie's press conferences where there was nothing. I mean, I thought they told more than I expected them to.
they said a lot without saying it too as well. Like how they, I feel like they accidentally said some things they didn't mean to say, and
so I agree with that.
Yeah.
They went from like persons of interest to suspect to suspects. Yeah, I heard that too.
They said suspects several times, so I think it's definitely multiple. They feel like it's multiple people. So, has anyone not seen it? I can go over the points. I mean, I can play it again.
Yeah, we should maybe watch some of it if you guys, one thing I thought was really interesting was one thing they're adamant about, and I was like, yes, was because we've said it all along, all three of us, that this is a homicide investigation and nothing will sway that. And I thought that was interesting.
And the way they said this was not a random act of violence. This was something personal. Really, I felt like they said a lot like that.
And when
they totally named them without naming them to an email.
100%.
Yeah.
They said she could have been, I think I told you, when they said she could have been alive after burning, that was.
Yeah. Well, I feel like that's the only thing that it would explain the burn pile, and then her being away from the burn pile and gripping the tree, unfortunately. But
you could tell it bothered them too. Just that, like I felt they were very sympathetic, or what's empathetic. I don't know. What's the one where you're like, feels for somebody.
Right.
And thank you.
Yep.
So, I also, on Daily Mail, they have video surveillance of her car outside of the Family Dollar. I think it looks like there's a second person in there because they show it from the angle of the passenger side.
I want to see that. I haven't seen it yet. Is Sin Vision your husband?
Yeah.
Thank you, Amelia, for stopping by.
Yeah, him and Matthew comes in all the chats I'm into. That's his friend that we game with. So if you ever see him in there, he makes a lot of jokes. Don't pay no attention to him.
Was Jen in here the night that Matthew came in and said, "Are we still talking about the late girl?"
Oh yeah. He'll come in the chat and be like, "I'm here, bitches." I'm like,
I was laughing so.
Hey, New Zealand Mysteries.
It's just the way he said it. I was like, oh my God.
Hey, Amelia Sparks. Thank you.
Hi, New Zealand Mysteries.
Where are Matthew?
I'll show the.
Where are you, Ho?
I'll show the footage first. All right, so look, all right. I know it's. Let me see if I can make it bigger. How do I?
Look at her. She's looking at her phone.
But look, doesn't it look like somebody's in the passenger seat?
Kind of.
Like it looks like there's red right up on that window. All right, let me play. Of course, there's an ad. Hold on. How do I?
This is how you can trim branches quickly and easily.
Yeah. All right, so see right here? It looks like there's somebody there.
I don't know. I can't tell.
I agree. Who just said? Somebody said, Robert, I agree. She was set. I don't know. I'm so torn about this all.
I'm trying to pause it so I can.
I know. I was like, "Where's the pause?"
It's annoying.
Can you zoom in on Cait?
I
think she's trying, Chloe.
I don't think I can zoom in any bigger than this. I might have to screenshot it.
Okay.
And zoom in that way, but it really looks like.
Gosh, it feels surreal, doesn't it?
Watch. She turns right, and then she stops. And she stops again later. Wait, watch.
I think somebody was following her.
I'm totally jumping to conclusions, but I almost feel like she was set up by her daughter to go pick up
I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. Look, she stops again for a second. Then she turns there, which is weird. Why not just go straight and right? Why turn? Like to avoid cameras or something? Why turn there?
The station wagon. Where does that station? Is that a station wagon? Does that? Oh, I wanted to see if that car turned the same direction. But
when it ends before you can see.
Yeah.
Oh, the white station wagon.
That one.
I didn't even think about that.
Jen, I'm right along with you. I've really thought that similar thought since the beginning, and now I'm more even.
I think her daughter.
Yeah, me too.
Bad people money.
Yep, so do I. I'm 100% on board with that. I believe that's exactly, and like a typical enabling mom, who and no judgment there. I mean, I can't say I'd be any different.
Right. I know. I would probably be the same way.
Was paying off her debt and
right. No, I agree. I
didn't even think of that station wagon. That might be like a I don't know if maybe they haven't looked into it or not, but that might be a tip to throw their way to check out that station wagon, because it is weird that it pulled off right after
it moved when she moved, and then she kept going on.
Oh, so New Zealand mysteries, to give you a little rundown. All right, so this woman, Debbie, she goes missing. They find her on this on a highway. They have a little pool. Well, I don't know. You live in New Zealand, so it might be totally different. But where we are, there's highways, and then there's these little pull off roads where people sometimes pull over their car to change a tire or whatever. It's like a real little small pull off area in the middle of the highway. So it wasn't it's a random spot. Her car was there, and she was found laying on her back. Her abdomen was burned, and she was grabbing roots of a tree. That's how her body was found. So it comes out that not long before that, she was at this Family Dollar. Now, mind you, this spot is an hour and a half from her house. A couple minutes before that, she was at this Family Dollar store, a store buying items. But the items were really strange. She bought a tarp. She bought a lighter. She bought paper towels and a tote bag to carry them in. Did I miss anything? I think that was it, but I feel like I'm going to sing. Sorry. So then she goes into the parking lot, sits there for 10 minutes, and leaves. And in that time frame where she's in the parking lot, a Venmo gets sent to her daughter that says, they aren't going to let me go. I love you. There's a key to the house under the blue flower pot. And she Venmos her, $2,385. Weird random number. Then somehow she ends up at this weird spot off the side of the road. All these items are used to set a fire, and she's killed. We don't know how, but she had burn marks all over her abdomen. All the stuff that she bought was burnt. The tarp, the paper towels.
What I was thinking earlier is the reason that everyone was questioning why the top. If her daughter was telling her that they were going to be doing some painting, the top would make sense, because she was supposed to be going to help her daughter clean up that apartment.
Oh.
So a top would make sense in that point, because my parents always put down a top when they're going to paint. Always.
So the daughter has been arrested for battery and family violence several times. Her and her boyfriend have gone at it, and she's gotten arrested for that. Her boyfriend is seen on body cam footage last year saying that the daughter steals money from him. So this is weird to me too. So he says, we don't live together anymore, but she steals like $500 from my check every time and spends it on dope. How, if they're not living together anymore?
Because he put her name on his account and she has a card to it.
Okay. So I was going to say, maybe that's, she's like slick in the sense where she knows, she did something similar to him.
No, he was dumb enough to put her name on his account and she has an ATM card.
Oh, yeah, well.
Dingleberry.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I had to sneeze.
If you know someone has an addiction problem, the worst thing you can do is give them money or give them access to your money.
Mm-hmm. So one thing is interesting. I want to get your all yours. What am I even saying here? I want to get your guys' thoughts on this. Remember how I said Joey Terrell was the sheriff? He wasn't there today. Allegedly, they said he's very supportive, but he's assigned this guy that spoke today as the spokesperson. Well, if we remember, I said Andrew's sister or Andrew's mother is Vicky Terrell, and she's in jail for 30 years for trafficking drugs. So I wondered if Joey is at all related to Vicky, and that's why he is not around right now, because like I wouldn't know how to put that together. I mean, I'm sure, there's probably Terrell's is not like a Smith, it's like a Terrell or whatever. Yeah. But I am just, because it is weird in this type of a case for the sheriff to assign a spokesperson. And when they said, is he here? They said, no, he's not here. Like, it's odd.
Yeah, they said he was called out of town or something. Hey, Amber. So I believe Amanda left. So Amanda was living in Maryland with her brother. And they just moved back like 2 or 3 days before the mom disappeared. So they just moved back and the mom disappears. I believe they moved back because her boyfriend, Andrew, he's a wannabe MMA fighder.
My favorite.
We represent the Lollipop Kids.
He's really small. And he lost all 4 of his MMA fights.
So he's on a roll. Carry on, legend.
He's part of what is it called? The Lollipop Guild?
I don't know.
I forget what they call it. But so he comes back. They come back. And I believe he came back because he's on probation. And he was just skipping his monthly drug tests or whatever. And they put out a warrant for his arrest. And I think that's why they came back. So also, which makes everything very strange, is that the night before, the neighbors said there was a lot of arguing going on between 2 females. And that it happens often, and they didn't even want to talk about it because they were scared, I guess. Am I missing anything? Her daughter. All right, here's another weird part. The Venmo was sent to her daughter at 3:17, but she doesn't go and have her stepfather call 911 until after 6 o'clock. So what were you doing? I mean, if I got a Venmo from my dad saying, hey, they have me, won't let me go, I'm calling 911 right the frig away. Like, right away. Like, who the hell got you? Where are you? I'm calling 911. And also, if I had one last chance to send something on my phone, it would be my location and who has me. But she just said, they have me. Like, the daughter would know who they are.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
The whole that is just so strange to me that it took 2 hours.
Well, she was off at Ulta looking for her mother.
Yeah, but why would you go look at Ulta when you get a message saying they have me? They won't let me go. I mean, come on.
Tony, that was the police that mentioned that. It sounds like Amanda. So that's the other thing, right? the husband was oblivious, and we know now that he was actually at work, and he thought the only place she would have gone was grocery shopping, but for some reason she allegedly was 90 minutes away at a Family Dollar getting supplies. I'm not really for Amanda, but that's the first I had heard that Amanda actually knew she was getting cleaning supplies, or said that about the cleaning supplies.
Yeah, that was strange too. Like, also, the same day she goes missing, the daughter talks to her mom on the phone around noon. Also, did she not tell the stepdad? Oh, yeah, so on the 911 call with the stepdad, he says, Debbie sent my stepdaughter a text, not a Venmo. It was almost like she had left the money thing out then. Like, she didn't tell him that she sent her money. Like, why would you say a text if it was a Venmo? I don't know.
So wait a minute. She talked to her mother. Amanda talked to her mother at noon. It's 90 minutes away. She got a Family Dollar at 2:55. My guess is she took off to go wherever she took off after that phone call.
So she was seen at what time was it? I think it was like 1:50 or 1:55 or 1:57 maybe, outside the school. Like, it was a weird time frame from when she was seen at the school, very close by to the dollar store. All right, so like the school's only like 5 minutes from the dollar store, but she was seen driving by the school like an hour before she got to the dollar store.
So it was essentially whatever Amanda probably called her at noon, and she took off to go take care of her daughters.
And got, like, literally left around noon, went up there, was driving around there because at 2:55 or 1:55, she was driving by the school up there. She was up there at 1:55. It takes an hour and a half to get up there. So she had to have left minutes after that call. Goes up there.
Yeah, and doesn't it say at one point that she was seen going southbound and then she was going northbound? And that, like, she kept going. It was just really weird.
Yeah, I forget exactly what they said, but she was definitely seen at the school. I feel like I'm gonna sneeze again. My goodness. Yeah, but she was seen at the school an hour before she got to, like, why was she in that area, for one? That's what I need. Like, I want to know is, like, why was she even up there? There's also a rehab that's. Let me just pull up Google Earth so I can show you guys real quick. So people who so I can show like real mysteries.
KOT. We haven't heard that the husband suspects the daughter, but I would say it's probably. I would say he probably.
Sounds like her sister definitely suspects.
For sure.
her.
I think they have questions.
Because the sister in the 911 call said the daughter's not communicating well. Like, she was calling to find out what happened because the daughter's not communicating well, she said.
Yeah. You could tell she was very skeptic of what was being said.
For sure.
And who was.
For sure.
I don't blame her.
Okay. All right. So this is Debbie's house. Oh, how do I get that? I didn't even realize I still had that comment up. Oh, and I put that comment up for a reason, but maybe it came to $23.85 because of tax. Don't you have to pay money to make a big transaction like that on Venmo?
I don't know, to be honest with you.
Because maybe it was, like $20 or $15 to make that transaction, because it's a $2,000 transaction. I know making some transactions, if they're a lot of money, they cost like a certain percentage to do it. All right, so sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I would guess that Steve may be upset with Debbie helping Amanda, or maybe. Did the daughter fabricate the story about the ex-con truck driver with the paint can causing accident with? I don't know. Okay. I've never made that big of a transaction, but like for instance, Apple Pay, I know, or like transferring Apple Pay to the bank costs money, stuff like that. So maybe it's something like that.
Hey, Rena.
This is her house. This is her daughter's. Well, this is the house that her daughter was staying at, I believe. Now the game, like the Bulldogs game, was happening right around their house too. Because a lot of people thought she may have been tailgating, but that was in Athens. All right, so she was found here, way up here, 60 miles away. And then here's the Family Dollar, even up further.
And the house Amanda was staying at is actually Steve's house, the husband. So, I mean, she just mooched in every place she could.
Clearly.
Gosh.
So if a credit card is used to pay, Venmo charges the sender a 3% fee. I wonder if it's from her credit card.
You want to know what's interesting is, can we pull up a picture of that article of the house when they're standing outside of that house when I think it's Fox News catches them and takes a picture? Because there's like 3 or 4 hanging baskets like hanging up. And I'm just thinking, okay, the house, you know, now that I look at it, I'm thinking, okay, you needed to clean the house, but it looks pretty you know, like it just, I don't know. It's just weird.
I can pull it up.
I can't imagine that Debbie had her move back home and then, you know, didn't have anything cleaned. I just don't buy it.
Yeah. Hey, the Erie Ferry. All right. So this is where she was found, like literally off the highway. And then right here is a men's rehab facility, which I thought was pretty strange too.
So wait a minute. So that's a road right there. So she could have pulled off from that way, and somebody could have been parked back there.
Well,
that's what.
Yeah, this is a road. I don't know if it can. I don't think it connects through here, but I don't know. But they said she was by the creek, so the creek is, you know, back here. So she had to be pretty far back.
I'm just confused because there was no one else in or out of that car I mean, we don't know, but there was such a short time frame, so somebody had to have been parked somewhere else.
Or there was someone in the car and they just couldn't see because of the tint. Because it's pretty tinted. All right, so there's
a hotel back there. Wow.
So they tracked her car through the Sirius radio. It was a rental car because her car is in the shop. They tracked her car through Sirius radio, and here's another thing that's strange. The police told the daughter a general area of where the ping was, but not the exact area, and the daughter showed up, like she found it. And, I mean, this is just a strange place to just find. It's off a highway in the middle of nowhere. Like, I don't know. I find it hard to believe and there was only one cop there at the time. It wasn't like a whole bunch of cops. It was just one cop waiting on a canine officer to come to search for Debbie. Okay, I'm gonna play the press conference for us. Hey, Emily, no. You drugged up on Dayquil. Okay, hold on one second.
Hey, Emily.
And remained in her van in the parking lot.
Can you guys hear it?
Yeah.
Before leaving the parking lot and heading south on Georgia 15, Highway 441, US 23. This tells us that the time frame is actually narrowed a little further this case to begin at 3:19 p.m. on Saturday, September 10th, and ending at 12:44 Sunday, September 11th, the time of the discovery. Please understand that this case is very complex in nature and has a lot of questions and unknowns that aren't found in a typical death investigation. It is going to take significantly more time than the 19 days that have passed since the discovery to solve this crime. We also want you to know that we are working diligently to solve this case. We are trying to obtain as much information as possible so that we can put together facts and evidence to support a motive and also to identify a person.
I don't know what I just did, but my mouse is being all kooky.
Our next question was, are you in possession of...
This time, I'd like to call up lead investigator, George Kaysen, to assist with answering the questions that you may have. George.
First of all, I want to thank everyone for being here, being part of this. Hopefully we'll be able to answer some questions and give y'all some insight of where we're at and kind of what we're dealing with. First off, I want to start off by saying we have received a lot of questions that y'all have sent in. Some of these questions, the information that is pertaining to those questions is very sensitive information. We will try to answer them to the best that we can, but there will be information that we need to retain just for the simple fact of it being very sensitive, and we don't want our potential persons of interest to be able to get a hold of this information. Just that way it does not jeopardize the furtherment of our investigation.
So clearly, I'm just going to stop it at key points so we don't forget this stuff. Clearly, they have persons of interest in mind. He says persons several times throughout the whole. Hey, Lynn.
Hey, Lynn.
Yeah, I think I'm starting to get a cold too, guys, because I can't stop sneezing.
I guess I missed that where they said we don't want the person or persons. I mean, that basically says they have an idea.
Oh yeah, he said we don't want our person or persons of interest to. So they have a person of interest for sure.
Whoa.
Like, they have somebody or multiple people in mind, in my opinion. Okay. All right, let me continue. My mouse is like really touchy for some reason.
As far as some of these questions that were asked, I'm going to kind of go through a list of them and try to give answers as best as possible to you. One of the first questions that was asked is, can you confirm the Venmo message from the daughter, from mom to daughter was sent to mom's phone? We're still waiting more information that we have requested to confirm or deny where the Venmo was sent from, but we can confirm that Amanda did receive the Venmo. She did receive money. That much we do know right now. Continuing on, our next question was, are you in possession of Collier's cell phone, and where was it found?
So she received the money, and they don't know where the money is. So they don't know what she did with it, which I don't know why she wouldn't just... See you, babe.
I don't know, Tony. The interesting part about that is it didn't say under the flower pot. It says in, if I'm correct, in the blue flower pot.
Or under, maybe.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm going to go look.
Yeah, so they're trying to figure out what happened to the money still. All right, let me... Oh my gosh, why is my mouse acting like that?
Yes, we are. in possession of that cell phone. We do have it in evidence, and it was located at the crime scene. The next question that was asked was, what was Collier's cause of death? And as Colonel Kogod mentioned, we are still awaiting the full report from the medical examiner's office. Once that comes in, we will absolutely update everyone on those findings. What records and data have we analyzed? Due to that being sensitive information, much as the disclaimer that I gave when I first stepped up here, we don't want to reveal any information that could possibly be a potential or potentially jeopardize our investigation to where our suspects will get that information. There was a question about Deborah's phone records. We have served multiple search warrants on multiple different cell phone carriers. We are working with them to get all pertinent data from those devices and from those carriers. So hopefully we'll be able to develop more of a timeline, a better timeline, and hopefully be able to find out more information about what exactly happened. Inclusion of family members, a question was related to that. Is that right now we have not ruled anyone out at this point. We have ever developing leads and are gradually having information that we have requested come in. So we're still in the process of trying to find persons or person of interest. And as that information starts to trickle in, it will actually help us develop more information for y'all to have. We're continuing to investigate Deb's activities from September 10th through the September 11th, which is also going back to the timeline. We're gradually just getting more information in. We want to know just as much as anyone else does, and we are working, as Colonel Kogod said, we're working diligently. We've lost a lot of sleep, as such should be. In this investigation, we've devoted a lot of time to this investigation. There was a question about what search warrants have been executed. As far as the search warrants that we have done, again, we cannot give that information out just for the simple fact that it may jeopardize and give the information out to possible potential persons of interest. And we don't want to basically show our hand before we have facts. And as Colonel Kogod said, then a couple other questions that were kind of obtained as
I don't know. I hit some random key thing, like a key. I must have like unshared the screen through my keyboard because I was trying to type and then boom, it popped off. Okay. Before I start, if it was the daughter's boyfriend on 10 to Life, he did say that they were cleared, and they say in this press conference nobody's cleared, so that's suspicious. All right, let me continue.
Obtained additional footage from the parking lot, as he described, where she is in her 2022 Chrysler Pacifica van in the parking lot of the Family Dollar, which is obviously joined by other businesses. We've obtained additional footage and found that she stayed in that parking lot an additional 10 minutes. From that 10 minutes at 3:19 p.m., she leaves the parking lot and begins to head southbound on Georgia 15, which is the main highway, the 4-lane highway that connects Raven County to Habersham. She starts traveling southbound towards Tallulah Falls, which is just inside Habersham County. We are still in the process of trying to obtain videos from other locations and other businesses along that route, and we encourage any business along that route that might have cameras, please reach out to us. Look through your video cameras and reach out to us, so that way we can have a meeting with you and see if we can kind of even narrow down our timeline even more. And as far as the timeline, the last time we know that she was alive was at 3:19, because we see her in that vehicle leaving the parking lot, heading southbound on Georgia 15. There was a question about our thoughts of this being a homicide. We have not changed our thoughts about this being a homicide. We're still treating this as a murder investigation, and we will not change that.
Seems they're very sure that it's a homicide. I do believe they asked if it was like anything that was like visible, like, and they said the only thing that was visible was the burn, but I also feel like they wouldn't say that information at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
So her mom's phone was found at the scene, babe. Like, it was like there.
Remember too, Amanda let it slip in that 911 call that she knew, or she said she thought she knew her mom's passwords because she tried to get into her iCloud. But it was wrong, she said. So I just wonder if she had passwords to Venmo, or if Debbie used one password for a lot of things. And it's just interesting.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Very.
We will diligently and continuously work day and night trying to solve this case and try to bring justice to Miss Collier and her family. A lot of the questions we got are kind of repeat. So if I do repeat some of these answers, I do apologize, but I'm trying to go through and trying to hit every question that was given to us. We are, again, going back to the cell phone providers and search warrants we've done. We're working with multiple different cell phone providers to obtain the necessary information. All we know right now, as far as the Venmo message, is that, yes, it was sent to Amanda. There was a question in there as far as, do we know where the money is now? No, we don't. For the simple fact that we are still obtaining information, when it was sent, where it was sent, what device it was sent from. We're still trying to obtain that information right now. Yes, sir.
Going back to what you were saying about the death and why you're confident that this is a homicide.
Right.
Was there any signs of trauma to the body that clearly indicated that this was a homicide?
The only thing we know as right now is the burns of the body. We're still waiting for the absolute full report from the medical examiner's office. But nonetheless, because of the burns, we're still treating this like a murder. We're trying to investigate it as such, and we won't deter from that just because we're going to treat it like that investigation.
Can serious burns on your abdomen cause someone, like, kill somebody? Like, can they be fatal?
Well,
I don't know.
People die of third-degree burns all the time.
But, like, to your abdomen, though? Like,
well, I mean, that's your major organs are right in your chest cavity.
Yeah.
So
true. Yeah, you're right. I didn't even think about that. Because I was wondering if they only saw that. I mean, I wonder if it was caused by her burning, and maybe they found that gun casing or the bullet casing because they were using a bullet to scare her, like to get her there, or a gun to get her to the woods. Hey, Sabrina, speaking.
Or maybe the gun could have tripped up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Maybe it got stuck.
Yeah. And also, I was like, so she says her mom didn't really send Venmos, but she had multiple Venmos from her mom. And it makes me wonder if maybe while she was in Maryland, she helped her mom set up an account so that she could send her money, and she knew all the information because, with older people, they don't know what they're doing because they don't know the technology, and then their kids, help them set it up. I know, like, I would have to help my mom set it up and do all the stuff for her. So
I think so, because the first Venmo from her mom says to Amanda Collier, or Amanda Bearden from Debbie Collier, like she didn't, like she's sending.
Yeah, like
realize you don't have to type in your name.
That reminds me of what my grandmother used to call, and my voicemail would pick up, and she'd think it was me, and she would just keep going, "Hi, how are you, honey? What are you doing? Are you busy today?" Yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you have one of those voicemails that like confuse people? Where like, hey,
no,
how are you?
No.
I hate it when people did that, and I'd be like, hey, and then when they say leave a message afterwards, you're like, what the hell?
I'd hear her at the end. Oh, this damn phone.
That's great. Yeah, I think maybe she helped her set it up. Like she helped her set up the account, while she was in Maryland to help her send her money. People say I say Maryland weird. Somebody said it. Was it Chloe Joe? I think Chloe Joe told me to say
It
Maryland.
sounds like Merry, like Merri land. Maryland.
Maryland.
The other thing that doesn't make sense to me is daughter Dearest there claims that she tried her mom several times after the Venmo message and mom didn't pick up. Well, I mean, that's odd because they found her, mom had her phone, right? So mom was sitting chilling in the car at 3:17 and, was in the car probably for another 20 minutes based on how far it took to that location. And so Debbie didn't just all of a sudden decided not to answer the phone. Like it doesn't.
So yeah, she's alone, supposedly alone in the car, outside the Family Dollar. And why would she send "They won't let me go" while she's alone in the car at the Family Dollar?
Does anyone know? There's back and forth. Some people say yes, some people say no. If the daughter was at the house when Steve got home.
Yeah, I would like to know that too.
Because people keep saying both.
It sounds like it because I thought she was up in her room when he got home.
That's what I thought.
I feel like she said the key thing because she went in the house and she wasn't supposed to be in there, and she used like a tablet or she could have used a tablet or something to send it to herself, and then she said the key thing so that when Steve came home, he wasn't like, "What the hell are you doing here? And how did you get in?" Or like give her a reason to be, at the house. So.
Yeah.
All right, let me keep going. Should I speed it up? Will you guys like speed it up one notch? You think that'll be okay for you guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Investigation to get all thorough information.
And in the statement, it says, let's see, that you're clear that this was a random act of violence. Generally speaking, if I say something is a random act of violence.
Let me stop right there. Where did that statement come from? Just
it was not a random act.
Not okay.
Wow.
Okay.
That's huge because he stopped the guy and was like, no. Like, this is not a random act of violence. They're stressing this is not random. So it's not some random guy in the parking. Well, they don't. All right. So they don't believe it's some random guy in the parking lot following her, jumping in the car. They believe this was targeted.
What? Meaning that it was not could you be more specific? Because I don't want to put words in your mouth. What does that mean? Does that mean someone knew someone?
No, what that means at this point is there is no information. I'm sorry. There is no information or evidence to this point that shows that this was something random, that there was something that was not from somebody that she either knew or somebody who she had some association with. That's what we're seeing at this time. So based on that information, we do not believe that this is a random act of violence. We do not believe that this is the act of a serial killer. We believe that this act was deliberate and personal. Okay?
Yeah.
You told him.
From Fox News Digital. I'm just curious if Debbie's purse was recovered at the scene.
Yes, it was. We do.
It almost feels like they were trying to make a statement with that, or they're like trying to scare them. You know what I mean? Like they were mad. It was like they got mad about that question. Like it bothered them.
We had that in evidence, and it was recovered from the crime scene.
Is that another purse than the one that was said to be left at her home?
That we're not aware of. We're still working on that, but we do know for a fact the video that was released of her being in the Family Dollar, that purse was found at the crime scene and is in evidence.
And one other question there is there anyone in that area that she is acquainted with? Is there a reason she would go up there dressed in her Bulldogs jersey on game day and drive out?
We're still trying to work with that. Again, like I said, as far as some of the search warrants and some of the follow-ups that we're doing, we're trying to obtain that information to see if she has any connections. If anyone, and that's one thing too, I'm glad you asked that. If anyone does have any kind of contact, we encourage the public as well. If anyone had contact with Debbie Collier during that time frame, as far as from September 9th all the way through September 11th, specifically around the time frame of 3/19 to Sunday when the body was found, if anyone had any contact or might have seen or talked to her, please, we encourage you to come forward and speak with us.
Investigator Cait, wait for someone.
Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that she headed south on Highway 115.
15, sorry.
After leaving the Family Dollar store. Did the school zone cameras in Toledo Falls School pick up
Yes.
her departure?
Absolutely. And actually, I'm glad you asked that. I do have something that we're going to make readily available for y'all when we're done with this press conference. We do have in our possession, this is an actual photograph from the Toledo Falls school cameras. She was seen traveling northbound on Georgia 15, just north of our crime scene there, which is just south of Victory Home Lane. This is a picture of her traveling northbound on Georgia 15, traveling through these cameras at 2:17 p.m. on Saturday. Once we're done with this, I will actually tape it up here on the wall, so that way anyone and everyone can come up here and get a better picture of it, because I understand it's hard to see from here. So once we're done, you can come up and get a better picture of it.
Did you see her coming back southbound?
We have not. We have been in coordination with Chief Elrod from the Toledo Falls Police Department. She has spent many countless sleepless nights looking through cameras, and that being one of the most heavily trafficked.
So they haven't seen her come back southbound?
Mm-hmm.
What they're saying?
That's what it sounds
Yep.
like.
Sir, I'm glad you found us too. Oh, hopefully soon, Ryan. Hopefully soon. I'm getting there. I'm almost at 1,000. Oh, guys, and please, while you're here, sub to Positively Parker and Jennifer the Hooligan. Both of them have channels. They're on my panel, and their links are, I think.
Yeah, they've been dropping them.
Yeah, Lynn has dropped them.
Very kind of you guys. Mucho gracias.
All right, let me keep going. Oh, and I didn't mention earlier, they found her purse and her phone at the scene, but her daughter said that she didn't have her purse or her phone, and that she only left with her credit cards, which I don't know why.
I swear during one of the 911 calls too, the husband said that her ID was at home. Her license was at home. And
that's what I thought somebody had said.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think the daughter told him that, and that's what he repeated on the 911 call.
Yeah, like I feel like everything that he said was being relayed by the daughter, but
he
what's
sounded
weird is
he did. I felt bad for him.
He sounded really confused. A lot of people said he sounded like not bothered, but
I felt like he doesn't have any idea about the money or how much she's been helping her is what I
agree.
I don't think he understood the magnitude of it. I think he was kind of he sounded like maybe he was confused and a little annoyed.
He had just gotten home and she's missing. He can't find his wife. He thought she was going grocery shopping, and he never ever says Venmo. He says text. I don't think he had any idea she was giving him money. She was giving her money.
I don't either.
If you hear yelling, it's my son playing video games.
But that's okay. You can usually hear Dave effing people all over the place when he's gaming, like telling people he's going to F their sister and stuff in the background. I'm like, oh,
nice. Yeah, I think he's yelling at one of his friends. Real nice.
All right. Let me keep playing. But yeah, I don't know why she would lie about that. Like, if she knew she had her purse and her phone, why? That is the only thing I can't really put my finger around, is like, why would she just say that she didn't have it? Or maybe she thought that it would have gotten burned up in the fire if she was involved, and that they wouldn't find it. But I don't know. I just think it's weird. All right, let me.
Roads in Northeast Georgia, especially for travel towards the North Carolina mountains. there is probably in the upwards of 150 to 160,000 cars that come through there. So they are still looking through to see if we can find her coming back south.
I have a question about the van while I'm talking. So according to the original report sent out, the van was seen by Toulouse Falls officers sitting there on the side of the road around 5 o'clock Saturday.
I believe so.
And of course, when you all got there, the van was there on Sunday.
Correct.
Is it y'all's impression that the van was there that entire time, or was it from 5 o'clock till?
Well, obviously, from our timeline, we know it wasn't there the entire time.
It was not there?
So
from 5 p.m. Saturday.
Now 5 p.m. Saturday
to 11-ish, 12-ish when you guys got there Sunday. Did it ever leave that location?
Now that we're not aware of. Okay. When you said the 5 o'clock thing, I didn't know if you were talking about Friday. But as far as the timeline, the only times we can establish as far as that van is there is that we're still getting trickling information. I think there was another question in here if there was any tips from the community that have helped us out. Yes, because it has helped us narrow down timelines. We're still following up to see if we can actually get confirmation of this van being there at certain times. But as of right now, from what we know, that van was there at the crime scene on Sunday is what we can confirm. Now, as far as her time getting back to the crime scene, we cannot confirm that. We're still working on leads and trying to confirm that information.
During the time that you say she was sitting in the parking lot outside Family Dollar.
Yes, ma'am.
She left at 3:19. Mm-hmm. At 3:17 is when this Venmo message was sent. And earlier you mentioned you're still trying to determine what device that was sent from. Right. Does that mean that you all do not yet know if she in fact sent that message herself?
Well, as the investigation goes on, I mean, we're doing a lot of search warrants to try to obtain any information that we possibly can. And as we know, as far as with the digital information and all the digital electronic devices we have these days, you can access accounts from many different devices, which is why we're going through the extent of being able to determine what device that Venmo was sent from.
And her daughter received that payment at 3:17.
So it sounds like they may think that the Venmo was sent from another device, because he specifically says, as you know, you can access, with technology, you can access accounts with several devices. So it makes me think that there's just, this just spells out they think the daughter's involved to me. It just, and we know they took the daughter's phone. We know they took the daughter's boyfriend's phone, and that they said they felt like they're being treated as suspects. And he's saying that they're trying to figure this out. So
I'd be checking the thrift store parking lot camera that's on Victory Home Lane, because we know that at 5 o'clock there was no car other than that van. I mean, you can't tell me that people took her in the woods, burned her, and did all of that in 45 minutes by the time she got to the actual place, by 5 o'clock.
I think that's why it took her 3 hours to get to. 3 hours later, she goes and has Steve call 911. Why wasn't this done right away? That probably is one thing that's really if I ever got a message saying somebody wouldn't let one of my family members go, I am calling 911 right away. My family is being kidnapped.
Something is weird. That is not, I know Amanda said it was a cryptic message. I don't think so. I think that message, I don't know.
I think that message was, one, because she needed money, and two, because she wanted it to appear to police that somebody else had done it. She was trying to throw blame somewhere else. Just like when she calls on the 911 call and she says, do I need to hire a PI to do this stuff? Acting like she is so worried about figuring out who did this to her mom.
Just like the exactly, Tony, exactly. She didn't come back here either because she missed her mom. She came back here because she
needed money.
Yeah, and I know that her thing said she worked at Habitat for Humanity in Maryland. I'm going to need to see those records, because allegedly
there's a Habitat for Humanity right near the.
I know. Apparently, based on her past employers that have commented on Facebook, she couldn't hold down a job. So unless she was the Habitat, I'm not seeing that she probably had a long-winded career there. And when they said she lived in her brother's complex, I think they meant she lived with him, because there ain't no way she had money for an apartment herself in Maryland.
Yeah.
Because her brother was giving her money in January. Her brother gave her money 4 times in January via Venmo. And then Debbie started giving her money in August. Yeah. Interesting thing about Venmo, though, is in January, this is interesting. In January, Amanda's brother gave her money for supplies. It says supplies. Debbie was looking for supplies, right? But the other thing that's interesting is I wonder what medication Amanda's on, because on August 17th, Debbie sent her money to, it says, refill a script.
Maybe she's on methadone.
Yeah.
Or like
one,
two, or something, because
geez.
she's
in August, from August 2nd to the time, September 10th, she gave her money 7 times. Dang.
I'm trying to look now and see if I can find anything about her enslavement. I'll keep going.
She said in the Athens Clark County Police Department report, when she reported her mother missing, that it worried her. She tried to call her mom on her cell phone. But 2 things. One, she had said that her mother only took her debit card and car key. She didn't mention her purse. She didn't mention a cell phone. Also, it took her 3 hours, according to the timeline in the missing person report, from 3:17 to 6:01 before she actually reported her mother missing. Have you all looked into why there was a delay?
Yes, we have looked in, and again, we're still waiting for more information to come back. Again, with the search warrants that we've done, we're trying to develop those timelines, get confirmations of where these people were at, or anyone that was close to Deborah at the time. We're just trying to develop and get that information and get factual information, so that way we can actually start putting a basis to this.
Investigator, on the original incident report, there's a check mark about drug use. Was there any?
Yeah, I will let Colonel Kogod.
I can answer that. So patrol deputies, when they respond to scenes like this and they don't know exactly what they have, they normally mark whatever may be applicable. In this case, because it was so questionable and there were so many unknowns when we got to the scene, they marked it as a possibility that it could be drug related. However, at this time, the investigation is not leading us in that direction.
Is that another example of why there may not be an obvious trauma, like someone shot, stabbed, or,
Could be, but again, it's so preliminary in the investigation that we really can't make that determination. We just do not believe, based on what we have at this time, that this is drug related.
The tip that Amanda Bearden was at the Family Dollar, did that come from her? Did it come from somewhere else? And what is the significance of her not being at that location that Saturday?
I'll try to answer that best as well. So the tip, as far as her being at the Family Dollar, came from an initial interview to where she was talking about her mother going to Family Dollar to buy cleaning supplies to help clean up her apartment when she got back to Georgia. As far as anything, as far as the Family Dollar visit, I don't think that actually came from her, right?
No, they come from a.
Yeah, come on. This is Investigator Garrison. He's also one of my team leads.
So I pulled the video footage from the store and talked with everybody from the store. Based off of that, with Ms. Collier, she was there for that time period from 2:54 till 3:10, got in her car at 3:10 till 3:20. It was asked that if Amanda was in there earlier, and Amanda, based off of our knowledge at this time, there was some confusion there, and the associate that worked there actually saw the mother and not the daughter. I was able to provide photos to that store clerk to confirm that, based off of what we were told, and she said, no, I remember seeing the mother, not the daughter.
Can you speak to whether Amanda Bearden has any acquaintances or friends, family?
Hey, Melissa. I'm so confused about this part, too. Like, I don't understand what they're trying to say. Like, she did an interview and said something about shopping for supplies with her mom. Are they saying that she was alluding to a different time? Or, like, I don't understand what they're saying. Like, her daughter was saying at a different time they were at Family Dollar, and maybe that's where she was, at a Family Dollar, and to look at Family Dollars, or she said she was probably there getting supplies to help clean her apartment, or I don't understand where they're going with that. It's confusing.
Yeah.
The way they word it. And then they asked the lady if she was there with her, and she said no, but I feel like it kind of looks like in the footage that there's somebody in the passenger seat. Yes, I did, Melissa, and I feel like so to me, it almost looked like there was someone in the passenger seat. It looked like there was the red shirt right up against the door. Also, Parker noticed like when she pulled off and started moving, a white station wagon like pulled off at the same time, which we thought was a little strange. So I'm not really sure like what to make of it, but it's hard to see because the windows are tinted. Like I feel like somebody could have easily been in the back too. Like the windows were pretty tinted dark. Yeah, it looked like someone, well, I know Debbie was wearing a red shirt. So I don't know if it was just, yeah, she did take a weird turn. Like she backed up, got out, and then she went forward, she stopped. And then she kept going, then like stopped again. And then instead of going straight and right, she like went like right straight and then right again, which just, it was weird. It was a weird maneuver. I'm not really sure what she was doing, but
it's just so bizarre. Like, why that spot? There's woods everywhere. This is what is just, I'm sitting here looking at all the residents that own homes near there, and I'm going to try to tie them together with her because there's woods.
Well, they said
everywhere.
that was a common spot, which would make me think, why there? Why would you go there then if it's common?
I know.
Because you have a risk of someone else stopping.
But like, how did they get her to go there is the thing. Like, how did they get her to just, like, if she was the only one driving, be like, oh yeah, meet me on the highway on this pull off. Like, it's just a weird place.
For
like,
as much as she, I mean, the location, yeah, but if for as much as she enabled Amanda from what people that knew them have said, I don't know.
It could have been a setup that she was told her daughter was in danger, you know?
That's possible.
I mean, you'd go anywhere. Someone tells you they have your kid and she's in danger, even if she is an adult.
Just like, I feel like maybe someone was in the car and was just like, pull over here. You know what I mean? It's just a strange area. Like, even for her to, like, if somebody told me to meet them somewhere on a highway, I'd be like, where the hell is this thing? I don't know how to, like, I would have a really hard time finding some random pull off on the highway.
Mm-hmm. I think so too, Melissa. And that is really just heartbreaking. That and the fact that she might have been alive after she was burned just breaks my heart.
Yep. That's awful.
Imagine being him and thinking, oh my God, like she like just.
No, I can't.
Yeah, Melissa J.
Must
go ahead. Sorry.
Awful. I was just going to say that stepdad's got to feel awful thinking, I knew this little bitch was trouble, you know?
The way he said stepdaughter and corrected that instantly tells me he was over her. Like, I don't think it was.
And why did it take her 3 hours to get him to call? Why didn't you call as soon as you got that message? That bothers me so much. Why?
Yeah, she didn't call him. I mean, he was literally, he just sounds like, what is going on?
If
Confused.
not 911, why wouldn't she call Steve and be like, Steve, I just got this really weird ass message.
Have you talked to mom at all?
Yeah, like why wait 3 hours to tell somebody that?
Mm-hmm.
That just bothers me so bad. All right, let me continue this.
Oh, good, Buttercup. I'm glad we're having a more. Yes, exactly, Melissa.
Investigator Cait said we can't confirm that right now. I'm sure once we start getting some of these subpoenas and search warrants back on these phone records, we'll be able to give an answer on that at that time.
When was the last time Amanda told you all she saw her mom? And can you confirm a report that Debbie's husband, Steve, was working during the time of Debbie's incident?
All right, so what we can confirm as far as that question right there is that we know that Amanda talked on the phone with her mother on Saturday afternoon. I'll have to look back at my notes from the actual report itself to be able to give you some kind of actual time for it. But the last time she spoke to her mom was on the phone. As far as Steve working, we have pulled video from Synovus Bank where he stated that he was working that day because of being a UGA game. He works for a private company called the Optimus Club that private contracts Synovus Bank's parking lot to park vehicles for the game day. They use that parking lot to provide parking for people coming to the game. We have confirmed that he was there from, I'm making sure I get the times right, from 9 to 4:06, 9 a.m. to 4:06 p.m. on Saturday.
I'm Nora Almas on the WCHN. Do you have any reason to believe that she could have met someone there where her van was parked?
I'm going to go back to the answer as far as we're not ruling anything out. We're still trying to develop leads. We're still following up on tips and information. We're still awaiting information back from search warrants and subpoenas that we have sent off. Once that and
I don't think he knew about the money either, Melissa, because he says like she got a text.
I agree.
Not a Venmo. So it's almost like she didn't even want to tell him that she sent her money. Yeah, something's strange.
The other thing is she lied because she said that right after she got her mother's phone was instantly shut off after that Venmo. But I just, it doesn't make sense because we know she was sitting there. I think you can see her looking down at her phone, but in the parking lot. But I don't know.
So do you think Debbie sent it or her?
I don't know that Debbie sent it.
How am I supposed to win? Damn it.
Oh, did you hear? I'm sorry. I'm not opposed to the idea that possibly, what if that message was from, going along with Jen's theory, what if that message was actually from Amanda and they won't let me go, or somehow, I don't know. I'm reaching now.
Well, I think it's reasonable to reach with her history.
Yeah. I need to tell him to.
I mean, if she didn't have a criminal history, then maybe the reaching would be far-fetched, but she's had a few run-ins with the law. They know that she had drug addiction problems. I mean,
we know that she's used and abused multiple people. I mean, taken from boyfriends, MMA, Munchkin Boy, whatever, and the odd thing about him is he was like clean from alcohol and drugs the last 4 months, doing like all of his everything, his parole and everything. And in June, that all stopped. He just stopped showing up and everything. Like, it's crazy. So it's almost like as soon as she comes into the picture of anybody's life,
yeah, it goes to shit. But like, why did they move? Like, did he move to run away from probation? Because why did they move out there?
I don't know that he ever moved because I thought he was with her, but he was here up until June. I don't know how. Somebody said, well, no, they moved together because they both stayed with brother, but that's not, I don't know. So she just went there for the summer? I mean, I don't get it.
Maybe. I wonder if they live near like Ocean City, Maryland.
For phone records as well. Once that information comes back and we have time to actually analyze and go through the details, then we'll have a better answer for that.
Investigator Case, and I know you said that the state medical examiner's autopsy report has not yet been completed, but in the report that you all released last week, you stated that Ms. Collier's body was found down a ravine and she was grasping a small tree in her hand. What does that indicate?
I mean, that's a lot of different indications. I'll let him kind of talk about that.
At this point, we're not sure what it indicates.
Could she have been alive?
Very possible that she could have been alive at the time she went down the ravine. But again, the autopsy will help us to narrow down time of death, help us to narrow down toxicology reports, help us to narrow down other things related to the body itself that we don't know at this time.
So would that indicate, if she were alive, that she survived being burned?
Very possible. Again, very preliminary in nature. Yes.
As far as the crime scene itself, is that private property? Is it public right of way? Is it U.S. Forest Service, National Forest land, or?
I believe it's U.S. National Forest land.
Really quickly, Kara Spelger, 11 Alive. In reference to the crime scene, it's mentioned that the purse that she had at the store was found there. Were any other items recovered, including poncho she bought?
Oh, yes. So all the items that were purchased as far as from the Family Dollar that we can tell right now, again, we're still going through the investigation, but we can confirm that the majority of those items were found on the crime scene.
So that one thing that looked like a book cover, I wonder if that was in her car or if it could have been something from somebody else's car. Because it looked like a book cover to me, like a soft book cover. All right, let me.
You mentioned a minute ago that Amanda had just moved back to Georgia. Where was she and when did she move back?
So this is what we can confirm. She lived in Maryland with her brother. She lived in, I think, the same apartment complex, correct? With her brother up in Maryland. City, I can't tell you what the city is because I don't have my notes and stuff in front of me, but I do know it's Maryland. She moved down here on the 8th, which would have been Thursday, September 8th, when she moved down here to Georgia. So we know that she was down here at some point on Thursday. Yes, sir.
You're clear it's not a kidnapping, despite the fact of that note with the Venmo note. What is that something that has made things particularly murky? Because that note seems to give the impression something was going on.
I'll tell you straight up. Right here, as far as this investigation goes, it seems like once we get on track with something, like a curveball comes in out of nowhere. That's why we're staying diligent and trying to stay on top of things and following up with leads, because we want to make sure we get facts, specifically to give y'all. We want to make sure that we have all the information before we start pushing forward.
Did Amanda give any theory as to what was going on, why she would get that kind of message, especially now that we know that message was probably sent in a 2 to 3 minute window after her getting out of the store? Right.
She has not given any kind of insight as far as do that. She has been asked. And again, I'd have to go back to my notes to give you the exact statement she gave, but there's really no insight to it on who they are.
And where is the sheriff in all of this? We've not heard from Sheriff Terrell directly.
Yeah. I'll let his second in command.
So, as any good leader, the sheriff delegates certain authority, certain responsibilities to other people to be performed on his behalf. I've been appointed as the PIO for the Sheriff's Office, Public Information Officer, and I can assure you that Sheriff Terrell is the reason that we're doing this today. But I'm the spokesperson, and that's why he has allowed us to report to you and also to bring in the investigators that are actually working the case to give you as much accurate and detail as we can.
I don't know why it's doing this, probably because Dave's gaming, but it doesn't keep doing it.
The ongoing investigation.
Is he here in Habersham?
No, ma'am, he has been called out of state. So he is not here right now. So it is now 9:30. Again, I want to reiterate to everyone that this is a very complex investigation. It has a lot of unanswered questions. It also has a lot of issues that you don't see in a typical death investigation. For that reason, it is going to take a significant amount of time, well beyond what we've had in the past 19 days to solve this crime. But we are working diligently to do that. We are working diligently to determine a motive, to find people or a person of interest, and to bring a resolution to this case for Deborah Collier and her family. Thank you.
May I make a statement?
Sure, absolutely.
Also, going off of what he said, as far as in the 19-day investigation, to kind of more elaborate on that, this investigation is a marathon. It's not a sprint to the finish. We are going to make sure we take our time so that way when an arrest is made or when persons of interest are actually identified, that there will be ironclad information behind that and supporting our reasoning. We want to encourage anyone that has any information to please reach out. We are following up on any tip and any lead that we could possibly get. My opinion, and I try to leave my opinions out of this, there's no such thing as bad information as far as given to us to follow up with, because we're going to follow up and find out whether it's relevant or whether it's factual or whether it's pertinent to our investigation. So please, if anyone has any information, do not hesitate to reach out and speak with us. You want me to go ahead and just give them put our phone number out? My direct line is 706-839-0560. Investigator.
Clearly, they're not familiar with YouTubers giving out that phone number.
I don't think she brought up kidnapping, but they asked Amanda what they just said. We asked Amanda what they meant, and she could give no insight. So, Hey guys, check out T's channel, the Cipher Podcast. I'll share the link real quick.
Yeah, he wasn't real smart giving that number out.
Not really.
Yeah, the fact that they I forget what I was gonna say. Oh my goodness. I forget what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, she didn't bring. They asked her what they was or who they was, and she couldn't give them insight. So, if it was something like she was on the phone and they wouldn't let her get off the phone or something like that, and she was talking to her daughter. I feel like her daughter would have understood the context. You know what I mean? Like, oh, they won't let me go. Let me send you money. Like, her daughter would have been like, oh, that's because she was on the phone with somebody and they wouldn't let her get off, so she just Venmo'd me the money, you know.
The other thing is, if you're in a car with kidnappers or somebody who's taking you, or you're about to be killed, and you have grandchildren that she clearly loves as much, I mean, wouldn't you say something like a goodbye to everybody? Like, there's something, that Venmo message is weird.
Like,
it's not a goodbye. It's not.
Or somebody has me, I'm at this location, like,
right.
Or call 911 and, you know, ping my phone. Or I don't, you know, if she had her phone, it's like my location would be shared, and I would be like, ping my phone and send cops now.
Send help. You could have just said send help.
It just.
Or you could have hit share location.
Nothing adds to me, and it's like, if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck.
If she wrote that message was written, and the daughter understands it, and she's not saying it what it is.
I agree with that.
I agree.
And she might not be saying it because it's drug.
I agree, Metalhead Mommy. They definitely think persons of interest, because he says it several times. He says persons of interest, plural, several times. Like, he refers to persons. Like, in the beginning, he says persons, but then throughout the whole thing, he mentions it a couple times, and he says it with an S. So they definitely are suspecting more than one person, in my opinion. What if somebody was threatening to hurt her grandkids? Maybe. Well, her grandkids would be in Maryland, I would assume. So, I mean, still could. Okay. Oh, yeah. I don't know what is going on, but, like, I was trying to, like, type people's names out with, like, hearts next to them earlier in chat, and, like, the name would just disappear, and it would send, like, a lone heart. I don't know why YouTube is doing it, but it happened to me, like, 8 times today. And, like, because I always say, hey, so-and-so, and put, like, a heart, and every time I did it, it would just delete the whole person that I sent it to. So if anyone's having, like, weird things, it's happening to me, too. Just an FYI. Because I saw Tia said something like, clearly my messages are not being typed. So I thought maybe she was having Yes, Tia, see? I had a feeling, because the same thing happened to me today. I was, like, trying to say hello to people and putting a heart, and then it just didn't send. I was like, what the heck is going on? All right.
Garrison, who is my partner on this investigation, his phone number is 706-839-0559. Please contact us with any information if anyone has had any kind of contact or has anything that might help us further our investigation.
And that autopsy, when did you guys expect it to?
We're still waiting. We did have a meeting with them. They have prioritized things. So they initially gave us a 6-week time frame, but depending on how long it takes, once we get it back, we will have another update. I promise you that.
One last question, Chief Deputy Kogot. I had asked you this previously, but why was the GBI not requested to lead this investigation?
Because the Habersham County Sheriff's Office is a full-service Sheriff's Office. We're a full-service law enforcement agency. We have a complete division that is dedicated to investigating crimes that occur here in Habersham County. It is made up of professional men and women, law enforcement officers who have received special training in death investigations and crime scene. However, as any law enforcement agency will do, we still reach out to our counterparts, be it the GBI, FBI, and private entities that have resources that can help us with situations or items that may need a little more expertise, that may need a little more knowledge than we have. We reach out to them, and all of our partners have been tremendous help and given us that guidance that we need when we call on them. So it's a total team effort. We are just the lead agency because we're responsible for investigating crimes here in Habersham County.
Oh, the video that you discovered, will that be available?
Yes, we will make the video available. We will have it to you. If you will leave us an email address to send, we will send it to you by close of business today. Okay, thank you very much.
And again, like I said, the picture of the
Karma.
victim, I'm going to leave right here. So y'all can actually get a better picture of that.
Can you just leave that picture up there? I'll make sure.
Yeah, I'll let right there on the table.
they shut down the stream right after that, but look how tinted those windows are. I mean, I feel like somebody could just be sitting in the back and nobody would even know. They're so dark. I don't know. I don't know if they like, I feel like somebody could have been in the car with her. Like she went and picked up somebody maybe. I don't know. I really want to link why she was up there in the first place. Like apparently the cops don't even know because they're still trying to figure it out. But like why did she go all the way up there?
Somebody said that at the crime scene, there's clearly one tree that's been cut down, like actually chainsawed down, that law enforcement must have taken for some reason. So I was trying to find that picture. Because
that might
remember,
have been the one that she was like grabbing onto.
That's possible.
Oh, I keep sticking my chair. Yeah, the tinting on the... Well, a lot of people have like a darker tint on the back windows, but not the front ones. So I imagine that's why they're so dark, because they're like the back ones. But it's really dark. It's hard to see if somebody... I mean, I feel like somebody could have easily been in that car and they wouldn't know. I want to put on the... I really... Like, I swear somebody's in that front seat. It's driving me crazy. I need to, like, screenshot this somehow and try and zoom in. You don't see that? Like, I wish I could make it bigger. I need to put it, like, on my TV. But it looks like there is, like, something, like, pink or red right along the door. Like, it looks close to the passenger side door, and it's driving me crazy.
Americans are growing more worried about the
limo tint. I know there's like a certain percentage it has to be, but I feel like on the back windows it might be different. Like you might be allowed to have a darker one. Can you guys see it good?
Yeah.
It almost looks like somebody could be bending down right there. Like,
can't see that good.
I know. I gotta like... Hold on.
I'm blind though, so don't go by me.
Web capture full page. All right, let's try this. Let me see if I can... Yeah, she was driving, Tia. So, they said that she was alone, but I don't know, like, or that she appears to be alone. I just feel like it looks like there's somebody close to the window right there. Let me see if I can find the picture I just took. Nope. What's it? This might... No, that's not it. Oh, I didn't know it took a picture of all my screens. All right, hold on. Where do I find that? Documents, downloads. No. Let me try again. Oh, wait, I didn't save it. Oh, it took that. Hold on. I don't know how I'm going to get a picture of it because it automatically defaults to like... All right, let's try this again. Web capture full page. How does it keep doing that? I have it on the thing and it keeps taking... Whatever, I give up. Like I have it playing and it still doesn't get it. Yeah, I see the red too, but I can't tell if it... Like it looks like it's right up against the passenger side window, but it could be just her over and it like appears that way, like her in the driver's seat. But it's really bothering me because it almost looks like somebody's like this in the front seat. I can put it back up and you could look, but like it almost looks like there's like hair. I'm gonna have to get a screenshot of it. Yeah, there's definitely movement. I'm gonna try and get a screenshot of it and like edit it so I can see better or zoom in. Maybe I can screenshot it with my phone and then try, but it almost looks like somebody is like laying down. Oh, come on. Wait, hold on. I'm gonna show it one more time.
Can you see it, Parker? I don't see. I can't see it.
Look, it looks like a red shirt right here, and then it's dark right
I only
there.
see red but my eyes aren't that good.
My eyes aren't that good.
Like it's just a real little spot of red. Unless that's the bag.
What is right there? Something moves. There's movement. So that's what's getting me is I just see the movement.
Oh, yeah, there's movement. Unless she put the red tote, that might be what it is.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. But it looks like she's looking around. Something is weird. This is driving me nuts, this case.
Yeah, Beatlemaniac, like I'll do the web capture, but it'll capture it as like pause, even though I had it on play. I don't know why it's doing that.
Let's watch this. She travels around the parking lot again. Oh, it ends. That's right.
I wonder if she's just not familiar with that area, and that's why she went the weird way.
Like, that's what I do if I'm telling somebody, like if I'm meeting somebody and then I'm headed out and like they're supposed to follow me or something, like I'll do that weird thing and then it's like, hey, follow me. But I'm also a really bad driver, so. See, there goes that white station wagon.
Yeah, every time I unmute and mute, it pauses for twice. It's such a weird turn right there, too.
Yeah, this case has me like nuts. She does look a bit confused, Esther. Like she's definitely looking around. Like the movement, I can at least see the movement.
Pennsylvania's Jewish community faces a rising tide of anti-Semitism.
I wish it kept going right at that end to see where that white station wagon went. It sucks they cut it off right there.
So the tree that is cut is too tall for her to have grasped that from her back. They have a picture of it. It's pretty tall and it's right next to the one that is fallen. What happened at that tree? Because originally it was said she was tied to a tree. Now we know that's not the case, obviously, but why would they cut a tree?
DNA, maybe? Because she was clutching it. Maybe they were worried there was like DNA on it or something. They didn't want to
Well, this is a different tree they cut down, but the only thing I can think of is that there was some sort of evidence of foul play at that tree. But they said no blood, right? Didn't they say no blood at the scene? Because
I don't remember that.
Somebody was freaking out on Facebook. They were saying that the law enforcement said there was no blood at the scene, but I don't remember hearing that. But I thought maybe I exited out too soon.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
Yeah, I bet you're right, Robert. Yeah, there's no way there was no blood on the scene.
So they put out like a paper immediate release thing, like when that like a report they release. It says the investigation into the death of Deborah Collier has received extensive attention, both nationally and locally, on various platforms of news reporting and social media. However, it is important to keep in mind that this is a very complex case, that these types of investigations take an extended amount of time, well beyond the 19 days that have passed since the initial discovery. While investigators wait for information to return from the various submissions, search warrants, and subpoenas, there continues to be more questions than answers. The autopsy report and findings and the results of numerous items submitted to the crime lab for analysis are still pending. The sheriff's office has begun to receive information from the initial series of subpoenas and search warrants. As this information is received, investigators, with the assistance of other law enforcement and civilian support personnel, are deciphering the responses in an attempt to identify a possible motive and persons of interest. Additionally, the sheriff's office continues to prepare and execute additional search warrants for various social media communication and location service providers. As released earlier, investigators did obtain footage that shows the victim, Deborah Collier, entering the store on September 10th at 2:55 p.m. and remaining there until 3:09. In the video, the victim appears to be calm and not in fear of anything. All video footage obtained from the store and surrounding businesses reflect that the victim was alone in the van at the time she visited the store. A review of the store receipt and the video footage from the store security cameras investigators confirmed that they were further able to determine that the victim purchased a rain poncho, a refillable torch lighter, a 2-roll pack of paper towels, a 7x5 by 9x5 OBD tarp, and a reusable tote bag. This was confirmed by obtaining a copy of the store receipt and a copy of the video footage from the security cameras. More recently, the security video of the neighboring business shows the victim coming out of the Family Dollar store at 3:09 p.m. and sitting in her vehicle for 10 minutes before departing the parking lot. At 3:19 p.m., the victim leads and heads south on Highway 15. The information allows investigators to narrow the time of death to a window beginning at 3:19 p.m. on Saturday, September 10th, to discovery of the body on Sunday, September 11th at 12:44 p.m. In an attempt to address the suggestions of this being an unaliving or the work of a serial killer, we want to reiterate that there is nothing that has come from this investigation thus far that would support the theory that this was self-inflicted or that it was a random act of violence. At this time, the investigation is leading us to the proposition that Mrs. Collier's death was personal and targeted. The Habersham County Sheriff's Office Criminal Investigators Division, with guidance and support of numerous law enforcement and civilian support resources, is committed to remaining vigilant in investigating the death of Deborah Collier and continues to encourage anyone with information regarding this investigation to contact investigator Cale Garrison. So, here's another thing. Why would she sit in that parking lot for 10 minutes? This makes me wonder if maybe, all right, hear me out. Does somebody work in that complex that she was waiting on to get done and then they were going to file each other? Or was she supposed to meet someone and she was waiting for them to contact her to tell her where to go? Yeah, they're not cleaning supplies, but what if her daughter asked her to pick up paintings, like get a tarp and paper towels and things to help her paint or something like that?
Or what if the setup theory Jen had is correct, and what if her daughter asked her to go get things for a friend of hers? Like, does the daughter have her license? Does the daughter have a car? Any of that? Like,
I don't know.
I think they do have a car. Well, I know the boyfriend looked like he was standing outside of one, or like, I don't know. Yeah, they're definitely not something you clean the apartment with, but you know, she might use a tarp to paint. Like a house or something, you know. it's just weird that
it's such an odd item to happen to pick up and then you end up murdered.
Yeah.
Well, and then the poncho too, like.
Wasn't it pouring that day or was that the next day?
I think it had been raining that day as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Which I think is why they couldn't get her to burn.
Because of the rain? Definitely could be. Yeah, I agree. I think that's why they couldn't get her to burn either. Something happened with the rain. It was pouring in the video the next day when that was the next day. It was literally like downpouring. Or she could have been meeting her husband at the game and she was planning on going tailgating maybe. I mean, I could see those supplies being used for like a tailgate party. You need super high heat to burn a human. Yeah, I don't think whoever... All right, so the Tara Grinstead case, I don't know if anyone's ever followed that.
Yeah, I was just looking at that actually last night.
Yeah, so Bo Dukes and Ryan Dukes, when they burned her body, they said it took like 3 days, and they had to like have the fire going for like a really long time. Like it's not easy to do, and that was at like his orchard. They like did it on his orchard, and it took a really long time to do that. So trying to do something like that quick and thinking you're going to get away with it, no. Yeah, the Tara Grinstead case is sad. It's a hard one for me because it like I feel bad for Ryan Duke, but at the same time I know he was still guilty, and I'm kind of like stuck on like if I think Bo did it or not. But that's an interesting case. If anyone hasn't followed that, I did a video on it. They just had a trial for it like a couple months ago. Oh, let me just say this again while I have a good amount of people in here. October 4th, I have a guest. I'm starting my Halloween spooky series, and I have a guest coming on. His name is Josh Hitchens. He's worked for the Philadelphia Ghost Tours. I don't know if he still does, but I know that he at least has. He has a book called Haunted History of Philadelphia and one called Haunted History of Delaware. And he wrote a play and started a play about Jeffrey Dahmer, and he knows like all things Dahmer. So he's going to present the Dahmer case with me on October 4th. So don't miss it. 8 o'clock, October 4th. He had to reschedule. I was supposed to do it yesterday, but he had to reschedule. But yeah, back to what I was saying. I forget what I was talking about. What was I talking about? Oh, burning. Yeah, it's really hard to do that. And maybe they had left, which it sounds like that happened. They had thought, they lit this fire thinking it was going to stay lit. I mean, you got to keep feeding it fire to keep it burning and keep it big.
Right.
Like it needs oxygen and more stuff. They probably thought the fire would keep going and going, and it probably... I will to you. Thank you. I appreciate that. They probably thought that it would, maybe that's why she said that she didn't have her purse with her, because maybe she stole items out of her purse, and she thought that she didn't know that the pile fizzled out and thought that all the stuff would be burned and that they wouldn't find it, and maybe that's why she said she didn't have her purse, because she could have took from her purse. Oh, and if you want, guys, I will totally dress up in costume like whenever I do. I'm gonna do like a spooky series where I do like spooky cases like Amityville Horror, different serial killers, things like that for the month of October, and I will dress up in costume as much as I can.
That'll be fun.
It'll give me an excuse to dress in Halloween costumes, which I love to do. So,
do you know what you're gonna be yet?
No, I have a bunch of different stuff that I keep over the years. I used to work at a bar that I dress up on, like the bar all the time. So I have a ton of stuff I can wear. Probably not as much, like as many as I think anymore, because I feel like I probably threw some of it out. But hopefully, my mom used to have like this bin of like homemade costumes she made, and it was like everything. It was like she made like a big Cowardly Lion and the Raggedy Ann dolls and all that.
How sweet.
Why do you think that they say so adamantly time and time again that it's going to take a significant amount of time? That this is just so, it's just going to take a significant amount of time. Is it just to buy themselves time, or?
Yeah, I think one, to buy themselves time, and I think it's every time they that it's getting harder and more confusing for them, so they're trying to stress to the public this might take a while, because you know how the public they want answers. Like, also, like a lot of people rush arrests and things like that, and they don't realize sometimes that it's more like getting a case together takes a long time. Subpoenaing record. All right, for instance, Barry Morphy case. It took them a year to arrest him, right? And when they arrested him, they were nowhere near ready. They didn't have a lot of the testing back that they did. Now, this is a year later, and they still didn't have all this stuff. They were still waiting on some of the testing. They were still having him talk and trying to get him to talk as much as possible. Things like that. So once you arrest someone, everything gets rushed because most people want a speedy trial. So that creates, they got to get their ducks in a row quickly. So arresting someone makes the process go a lot longer unless somebody doesn't want a speedy trial, but they usually request a speedy trial. So
they also might be not wanting her to know, wanting the person of interest or suspect to know that they know that they're on to them.
Make them think like it's going to take a while before they have a suspect or something. But I feel like it was hard. Like, I feel like at the same time, they like couldn't restrain their emotions. Like, they're just so like certain questions and stuff. You could tell they got like.
I think it was just I think she was in bad shape, and it's probably
maybe
screwed with their head a little bit. But because she's that like Southern grandma. Everyone, I mean, it'd be like thinking of your grandmother like going through that. It's agonizing to think. I mean, unless you hate your grandmother, but still, like, it's just nothing you want to think of. And I think, and every time you think you're onto something, you realize, well, it couldn't be that, because I think they're just probably frustrated too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, like, especially when they said, "Oh, this could be a random act of violence," and he was like, "Wait, no." He's like, "This is not a random act of violence." He got like all, into it, and
I bet they got pretty like. I think they were pretty irritated, probably because people started spreading the narrative that it was, unaliving, or that they were changing it from a homicide investigation.
Yeah,
that was probably one of the more emotional I've seen in a press conference, as far as, not when they're children, obviously but where they were fired up to find, like, I didn't feel like they were going to stop.
Yeah, I think they seem very, like very invested. Like, they don't seem like they seem like they care very much about this case, and they're going to do whatever they can. I have followed the Maya Maletti case, Lynn. I kind of stopped like after a couple months. I don't know if there's any new updates, but I remember like last I heard, there was like a PI guy, and he had all these like weird text messages of the husband who had like an altar and was like doing spells on his wife, and they arrested him, right? The husband. Did they arrest the husband in the Maya Maletti case? I feel like they did.
No, they didn't arrest the husband. No, well, actually, wait a minute. No, wait. I'm thinking of something else. Don't listen to me.
Oh, let me look it up. Now you got me. I feel like they arrested him. It's been a while since Larry Maletti.
It has been a while.
Oh, yeah, he was. Maya Miletti's husband declared competent to stand trial in her death 3 days ago. Interesting. Well, that looks like it'll be... I'll definitely be following it. That guy, he's so crazy, Larry. Like, he really freaks me out. He had, like, an altar...
for a long time, but it's been so long since I've watched anything on that. Totally forgot.
He made like an altar, and he had all these like pictures of her with like blood all over the pictures, and he was texting this like witch doctor type guy and asking him to put spells on his wife because she was like cheating on him. He's a real strange bird for sure. And then I think she was like hiding in her bedroom, and they said it looked like he punched a hole in the wall. Like she locked the door, and it looked like he punched a hole in the wall so he could reach in and unlock it. Oh yeah, I'll cover it. You know, it's funny because I used to mod for Critical K, and like I kind of forget sometimes that I haven't covered these cases because I have, but like with her, and then like now I haven't done them on my channel, so I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I covered them, but I didn't. You know what I mean?
In my head, I covered them, but I really didn't.
Yeah, like I covered them on YouTube
I know
and did all the research, but like not on my channel. And I keep forgetting that I haven't covered these ones. So I got to go back. I think it was just Gannon Stouck's 15th birthday, or 14th or 15th birthday the other day too.
Was it really?
Mm-hmm. I forget it was like 14th or 15th, but yeah, Letitia, she's a special one too. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm gonna end it. I've been up here for like 2 hours now.
Well, that was a great. Thanks for playing.
It was.
Yes.
Yeah, I've been sitting here just scrolling, trying to find info because it's driving me mad.
I know, like, and it seems. I know. I love the. I was so Gannon. Well, besides, it was like Watts and Gannon that really got me.
Oh,
like
Gannon.
Watts, I followed a little bit, but the Gannon case is when I like really came on YouTube and really got into like true crime on YouTube, the Gannon case. And I probably like what's the woman who she stole her baby, Heidi, or no, what was her name? Her friend stole her baby. That was another one. Yeah, I actually have a little Gannon sticker on my car. I bought like a little sticker of him with a little cape on and put it on my car.
That's cute.
I was like so invested in that case. And I've been so mad because we're just waiting and waiting and waiting for this trial to happen and him to get his justice from that monster. And she's worried about did you see the latest thing she did? She like wants to sue the prison for something about her food. Hold on, let me see if I can find it. It's ridiculous. She
shouldn't even be allowed to eat.
Yeah, she doesn't even like hold on. Here we go. Wait till you hear this. This is how ridiculous she is. All right, so Letitia Stouck is claiming her rights have been violated in a civil lawsuit. According to our ABC affiliate in Colorado, Stouck claims her First Amendment rights were violated when she experienced problems with her pre-approved kosher food. She says her meals were not wrapped appropriately and that non-kosher items were placed in her diet.
Balls on her.
Right? Like you're in jail.
You got a lot of nerve.
A child and you're suing over kosher food. Like, come on. Let me see if I can find. She actually wrote it out, like her whole. Oh, here it is. All right, ready? I'll read it to you guys because it's so ridiculous. Please see attached. Claim 1, general damages, restitution damages, or reliance loss damages, monetary. Claim 2, injunctive relief, monetary relief, policy change for well path neglecting inmates.
I cannot.
Trinity Food Services. All right, claim 1. Kosher violations. From July 2021 to February 2022, my First Amendment right was violated by means of my kosher diet. First off, how can they say this woman is not competent when she could put all this together? Like, come on, why are we not having a trial yet? My rights were violated by means of my kosher diet. Inmates sign an agreement stating they will adhere to the policy and follow their kosher diet guidelines to avoid interruption of meals and services. During this time, I expressed several concerns of the meals not being wrapped appropriately, items that were not kosher approved being placed in our diets, and the violation of sanitation by putting kosher on open trays. I asked deputies to alert their superiors that the policy and the custom by El Paso County Jail was not prohibited per the religious affiliation. Below are the list of inmate Caits that followed. One staff refused to contact Trinity Food Services and let administration know of their violations. 2021, August 8th. I don't know what Cait means. Cait to Trinity Foods explaining the contamination in kosher items on open trays. September 4th. Reported improper kosher and contaminations through the El Paso County Jail grievance process and was told to contract Trinity instead of the jail. November 19th, sent Cait explaining that the staff was using a pen marker to write K on non-kosher items that did not already have the standard approval. These were non-kosher items and violated the signed agreement. On 11/22, a response from the jail said to Cait the kitchen. What the heck is Cait? K-I-T-E. Contact me? I don't know. The jail continued to ignore the customs and policy for kosher inmates and place the blame on the contractor, Trinity Foods. However, the contractor is conducting business in El Paso County Jail and administration SSGT's surgeons failed to monitor and adjust violations. Next, during court transport in September of 2021, November 2021, and February 2022, I advised the deputies that they were not providing kosher meals while at court, and eating the sack lunches were a violation of our kosher signed policy. I also asserted my First Amendment right on each occasion and asked the jail to adhere to their policy on religious diets. After several attempts, I noticed retaliation and was not provided my kosher or my meal was delayed for hours when other kosher and non-kosher inmates had theirs. On February 12th, Deputy Stengel, a named defendant, sent in a violation of kosher to religious programs and they terminated my meal. It goes on and on. It's like 8 pages just about a kosher diet. Like, she really spent all this time writing up a whole lawsuit about her kosher diet. Like, are you really?
She's got nothing else but time.
But
she's like a Chris Watts.
Hey, Texas Troy, how can they say that she doesn't know what's going on up there? I mean, she's sneaky and calculated, in my opinion. It just doesn't make sense to me. Yeah, I agree. That girl, she needs to just be put down already. What she did to him was horrific. I just can't with her. Sorry, I was missing. Oh yeah, Megan Fiermuski. Yeah, that's who I was talking about. Was her name Heidi Broussard? I was thinking Heidi, but I couldn't remember the last name. I remember. I don't know if you guys remember this, but I got really into that case, and I'm not a huge fan of Jay's Justice. Sorry, guys, but if you are a fan of her, but I will give her credit. She did have this really intense live during the Heidi Broussard case where she was on the phone with Heidi's good friend right when the cops were outside of Megan's house. And like everything was unraveling live. And that got me so into YouTube. Like that was like my, like, oh my gosh, this is intense. Like everything was happening in real time. And there were, the cops are outside and they didn't know whose house it was. And they thought at this point it could have been her baby dad. And then when the friend found out who it was, she it was like her live reaction on Jay's channel, and it was just crazy.
That's the one she made on 48 Hours, right?
I think so.
That's what got her.
It might have been that one, but yeah, it was literally like everyone finding out that it was Megan in real time. Nobody, they were trying to figure out whose house it was, and then they found out the house, and they said it to the caller, but she didn't recognize the boyfriend's name, and then they were like, "Oh my god!" It was that got me like really into YouTube true crime. Like I followed it a little bit, but then I was hooked after that. The friend said whose house it was. She said it was her best friend's. Yeah, well, she didn't realize whose house it was at first. And then, when she realized what it was like, oh my God, I was just talking to her. Like, the friend had literally talked to Megan, like, that day. And Megan was being, like, all buddy-buddy with them, acting like she was, worried about Heidi and stuff. And it was her who did it. Oh,
that's insane.
Yeah, she was the only one who knew she lived there. Yep, it was crazy. Oh, I love Kyron Horror, man. That case gets me. I'm going to have to cover that on here because that case really gets me. That's one of my, cases I just keep going back and revisiting over and over again, thinking that I'm going to, find something new, and, I just leave confused every time. And that kid is the cutest little kid ever. I haven't covered that yet, but I love that case, so. I mean, I don't love what happened to him, but I'm hooked on that case. Yeah, I'll do a Kyron. I'll do a Kyron one. Maybe I'll do that as my next one. I want to do a Columbine one, but I've been.
Oh yeah, that'd be a good one too.
I'm just worried because I know it's such a touchy subject right now, but I feel like it's a good.
You should reach out to I don't know if she's still Natasha's mod or not, but she was actually there.
Oh wow,
she was
really?
A student at that time, yeah.
So
she said eventually she would talk about it, but
I was in grade school when it happened. I think it was in 5th or 6th grade. I don't remember, but I remember exactly where I was, and I was watching the whole show, or not, the news footage as they were running out on TV at my friend's house. I think we had off from school that day or something, because we were sitting. I remember we were sitting in her mom's room on the bed, just watching on this little TV, so confused. But
she said that people have I think she was a sophomore at the time. If Amber's still here, Amber will know. And she said the worst part is how many people took their lives afterwards.
Yeah.
The students and stuff.
Yeah. But a month ago, so I never really I knew the general stuff about the case, but I never deep dived into it. And I went down this rabbit hole the other day at work, because I just sit at work and at a desk with a computer and just have a lot of time to mess around, because on the weekends it's not that busy. So I was just looking into Columbine stuff, and there's just so much evidence and so much stuff that like red flags. I mean, these kids have websites where they taught you how to build pipe bombs and things like that, and militia websites. Yeah, and they were buying. They had a stockpile of guns. They were obsessed with. I mean, there was so much stuff, red flags, that could have been seen, and it could have been prevented. And I kind of feel like Eric was the bad influence, and Dylan was the good kid, and Eric moved to town and really because Dylan didn't come off that way. But there's so much. I mean, there's so much evidence and things to go over, and it's really so interesting. I didn't even know, but I worried that. Yeah,
you
guys,
should listen.
You subbed to listen. If you're not.
Dylan's mother does TED Talks and stuff, and goes around the country and speaks, and it's really powerful. She said it took her years to come to terms with what her son did, and to let go of the guilt and that whole feeling of how did I not know, type of thing.
Well, she does. I watched a couple of her TED Talks, and she explains there was some things there with him. I think they robbed a a truck or something like that. You know, typical teenage things that she didn't see, and that But I feel like with Eric, there was like crazy red flags.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Like, it's just insane to me. Like, if you see his website, so I found this website that like recreated all his websites that he had, because I think they're down now. But this guy has everything. I forget what it's called. I'm gonna have to. I could probably just type in.
Wow.
You guys want to check it out, but. But I mean, this guy has everything. Like, he even has. Research Columbine? No, it's not it. Hold on. It's a web. I have it somewhere, but Columbine. It might just be something like columbinesite.com or a columbinesite.com. Here, I'll type it in.
And what's on the site?
Everything. I mean, like,
really,
anything you haven't known about Columbine is on there. I mean, this guy here. I can just show the site real quick if you guys want to see it. I'll just give you like a little, but it'll definitely make for a good live. And I'll probably do this for my next one, honestly, and then I could do Kyron Harmon after this. But he has all the victims, the 911 calls, memorial photos, funeral, the photos of the funerals, the aftermath, the graduating class of 2002, the shooters, Dylan Klebold, pictures of Dylan, Dylan's writing, Dylan's journals, Dylan's drawings, Dylan's memorial cross, Eric's page, pictures of Eric, same thing. Police reports, autopsy reports, weapons and gear, school information, notebooks, journals, Wayne Harris diary. This is photos, maps of what happened in and around Columbine High School, surveillance tapes, damages to Columbine High, repairing and remodeling, photos and info about Columbine's Hope Memorial Library, the aftermath of the tragedy, their mascot. Their rebel used to carry a gun and now it doesn't. This is all everything about that day. Like event maps, BBC's summary, the narrative summary, who, what, when, where, why, injured victims, the survivors. A whole thing just for the reports. Like, he has all their websites on here. Media sound clips and video clips, surveillance tapes, 911 calls, police reports and official documents, the writing of the shooters, books, websites, music.
Holy cow.
I mean, he has everything on here. So, if you guys...
Who created the website?
I don't know. He might say it. Let me see if I can go. The oldest Columbine research site on the internet, a Columbine site archive, is dedicated to those who were injured and those who died in Columbine High. Information about research, the survey. I don't know if it says who. He has. It was like a blog at first where he would just like write. After 3 months after my family's were. Yeah, I don't know who made it, but I mean, I went through it and he really has like, let me see. He has like everything. You can now log on to the site and download the video files. I mean, he goes into everything. So I just feel like this would be a really interesting topic because I didn't even know they had websites. Like, I didn't know the kids had websites where they literally taught other kids how to make pipe bombs and like their diaries, and like there's just so much info, like so much. So it might have to be like a 2-part thing too, because
for sure
it's a lot. But yeah, if anyone's interested, you want to, I'll cover it. You know, if you guys go in a deep dive and want to talk about it, anyone's invited up to come up too. So,
well, you know, essentially the way the cops handle this is why they validate people say that basically they pulled a Columbine, like
because they took so long to go in.
Columbine set the precedence of what not to do, and that was supposed to like shift the entire, how things were handled. And to a T, law enforcement essentially did exactly what happened
and
at
they
Columbine.
found that, like, it was terrifying. Like, one of the stories they said, like, they were in the library, which was where most of the kids were killed, and they were literally going around and like smacking so kids were like hiding under the tables, and they would like smack the tables and then be like peekaboo and pop their heads under the table.
That is so freaking creepy.
And then be like, do you believe in God?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So there was like these two girls who said they believed in God, and then their parents just went on this like tour saying that they were martyrs because they were killed for saying they believed in God and all this stuff. Like, apparently that they were going around and asking people if they believed in God, and if they said yes, they were shooting them. And it just
So
literally
terrible.
terrifying.
Yes, we do, Melissa. It's like we're never gonna learn. Here we are. How long has it been since Columbine? Okay, a lot of years. And
yeah,
like they're still pulling a Columbine. I mean, that's exactly what
it's so often too now. It's like every week you hear some shit like that. Like, so for instance, where I live and close to Philadelphia, in my old neighborhood, I lived in Roxborough, like Manio in Philly. And there's Roxborough High School is Roxborough High School is like the public school for our town, but a lot of kids from different neighborhoods come there. And there was just a shooting they had a football game, which is literally like across the street from where my son's father lives, so it scared the crap out of me. But these kids were literally walking off the football field, going into the locker room, and 6 kids pull up in an Explorer, a bunch of 17-year-olds. They were all the same age. 5 of them jump out and shoot off 60-something rounds. They only killed 1 kid. Another kid got really lucky because the shooter had hit him in like the leg, and then he was on the ground, and he walked up and held the gun right above him and tried to shoot him, but he ran out of bullets, and the kid survived. But they said they shot off 64 rounds and killed 1 kid. 5 17-year-olds just jumped out of a car and started shooting, like in the middle of the street. It's crazy.
Our school put a lot of new security measures in this summer, and I was really thankful. Like, as far as like even so far as to like making a little type of office before bulletproof doors, so you can't even like go into the actual school.
Yeah,
and,
that's how the high school is here.
3 other police officers were hired, and so I was super thankful that they were proactive, because I know a lot of schools weren't. And I know it's not going to like keep them safe. I get it. If a shooter wants to do it, they're going to do it. But I just to know there's a little bit.
They're selling bulletproof backpacks now.
I know.
But the thing is with that is like in high schools and stuff, people usually put their backpacks in their locker.
Yeah, my kids aren't allowed to have their backpacks for safety precautions.
We were allowed to carry, or I don't remember if we were or not. I don't remember. I feel like in high school we might have been, but I don't. Either we went and just got our books and had to leave our backpacks, but regardless, a lot of kids aren't allowed to have their backpacks. So what good is a bulletproof backpack if you can't use it? Like,
no, I mean, I basically
a father and daughter killed by cops. I didn't see that. Oh wow.
Where? Dang. All right, I gotta go take a shower. I'm gonna hop down.
All right, yeah.
Because I just feel gross.
Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you. Great live.
Make sure you guys subscribe to Parker and Jennifer the Hooligan. I know people have been dropping their links, but I can drop them again. And Melissa Jade. And Tia, the Decipher podcast. I'm already on Decipher, so I'll share that. Let me share links and then. All right. Here is the Decipher podcast link. If you haven't subscribed to that, do that one. I just shared it. Good night, Esther. Thank you for coming. I'm so glad you found us.
Good night, Cait. I'll talk to you later. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us.
Thank you for coming up.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Here is Melissa J's. Subscribe to Melissa Jade. Here's Jen's. It's a lot easier to do this stuff when you have 3 monitors. You're welcome, Jur. Thank you for coming. That's Jen's. Subscribe to Jen. She just hopped off. That was one who just hopped off. And then let me get Parker. They all have really good true crime channels. Here's Parker's. I know. Well, my mods are usually on it. They might, but I could use a Nightbot. It'd be easier, so people could just put their name in the little exclamation point, and it'll pop up. I know. I need to download it. What are you gonna do for the rest of the night? You're partying hard, red Gatorade and bologna. Ugh, bologna. I can't do bologna. I like bologna's like cold hot dogs. Like, ugh, I can't do it. Oh my gosh. I made bitchbot is what we call Nightbot. Ooh, I like that. I made these before I go. You guys gotta hear this. I got these romaine heart, romaine big things of pieces of romaine lettuce. And I cooked up some chicken and doused it in Caesar dressing. And then I roasted some chickpeas so they were crunchy. Put them on there and some cheese and then some more dressing. And I had Caesar salad, lettuce tacos last night. They were banging. Bologna is cold hot dogs. Bologna sandwiches is cold hot dog sandwich, Texas Joy. All right, guys, I'm really going this night. Thanks, Pamela Smith. I'm glad you found us too. I hope you come back. Quality deli bologna over the summer. Does it taste like cold hot dogs? Maybe I'll try that. Good night, everyone. See ya.